had an opportunity to reflect on the question I'm asking today. Who do you get advice from, counsel from, and who do you give counsel from, and from what perspective? Hey Lindsay, how you doing? Good morning. Superstar, rock star, good to have you. I'm asking questions this morning because this question has occurred to me when I think of my sons. I think of my daughter. Good morning, Raymond. Welcome. I think of my son, my daughter. I think of others that I've given advice to. And I'm thinking of who I listen to when I receive advice from others. And I got to thinking, what gives them the qualifications? What gives one qualifications to give advice? And what gives qualifications for one to receive advice? You know, I mean, if I was listening to, good morning, Bishop, if I was listening to, Bishop Hyman preach, then I would be listening to his advice. If I was listening to Joan, good morning, Joan, I'm sure she would have some advice to give me based upon her qualifications. Okay. And I would think that would be important. Before I listen to anyone about what I should do, I want to know where their advice comes from. If I want to lose weight and I'm talking to Lindsay Harm, I know she's done it. If I want to talk to her about leadership, I know she's doing it. I'm going to take advice from those people that are doing it, not from people that read about it, theorize about it, or haven't lived it. It's important to me to take advice from the right people, and I'm sure it's important to you all to take advice from the right people as well. And if you're not taking advice from the right people, oftentimes you may get the wrong advice. If I'm navigating through something, I remember I lost both my parents at the age of 30 years old. And everybody was coming around me saying, I know how you feel. My heart goes out to you. They're in a better place. Let's pray for them or whatever. But I got to thinking, I said, none of the people that were talking to me had lost both their parents within a 6-month span of time at the age of 30 years old. So consequently, I began to think, no, you really don't know how I feel. You can empathize. You might get kind of close, but you don't know how I feel. I have never weighed 400 pounds. So I can't tell a person that weighs 400 pounds how it would feel to lose, say, 200 pounds. I've never done that. But I have lost 30 pounds. I know what that feels like. I have helped people lose weight. I know what that feels like. I have gained muscle. I know what it feels like. I've had to navigate through different relationships. I know what that feels like. So I can give advice on those subjects. My goal would be not to give advice to anyone if you haven't experienced it. It doesn't make sense. If I'm going to take advice about my multiple sclerosis and being able to have navigated through it and get muscle and lose weight, wouldn't it be plausible that I would do it from somebody that has done it? Well, I'm going to talk about these things. I want to bring my special guest on, my son. I love having him on because he resonates with the public. He resonates with me. So I'm going to bring him on so he can have something. I want to get his perspective too, because I've given him advice. Good morning, son. How you doing?
Morning.
Good morning, son. How you doing, boy? How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Looking orangey, looking clumsy, whatever. I'm playing with you. We're talking about receiving advice and giving advice. And I opened up by talking about the fact that when I lost both my parents, and I would have people come to me and say things like, I know how you feel. Uh, they're in a better place. It's going to be all right. They're trying to comfort me. But then I looked
Yeah,
at that. I looked at that. I said, well, wait a minute. You're not qualified. I mean, you're qualified to give me, comfort. That's fine. But you're really not qualified to give me advice on this topic because you yourself have not lost both your parents when you were 30 years old. You don't know how that feels. One parent is alive, then they're gone. And this parent, 6 months later, is alive and they're gone. You can't describe that unless you've been through that. You might be
that's
able
true.
to describe a different circumstance. You might understand loss, but your loss is different than my loss. So then I got to thinking about who we take advice from. Who's qualified to give us advice? And where I came from is I don't want to take advice off from all the successes, all the successful people. I want to, he's successful, she's successful. Let me follow her advice. That's great. But how did you fail? How did you fail? How did you navigate through that? Let me see the unfiltered Instagram post. Let me see the unfiltered sacrifices that you did to know that you navigated from where you were to where you are, so I can learn how you learned from your failures. I can grant you, son, that when you first started lifting weights, you weren't the phenom that you are right now. Okay?
No.
You weren't even close. You
Mm-mm.
weren't even on the planet. You were probably on the planet, but you were like in the dark recesses of what you could do now.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, really, come on. And though you had been a student in high school, it didn't prepare you to navigate through becoming a freshman in college, did it? Really?
No.
Okay. You weren't in the right frame of mind. You had to get, you had to move yourself away from your peers because your peers weren't qualified to give you advice either, were they?
No.
Okay. But you now, at this stage in your life, being a junior in the University of North Alabama, are qualified to go back to them and say, look, this is what I did. Okay? Home skillet, this is what I did. Okay? If you do this, I guarantee you will move forward. If you stay where you are, you won't. If I was going to talk to somebody about being a drill sergeant, for example, Rico Baker just popped on. Rico Baker has experience being a drill sergeant. So why would I talk to somebody in the military who had not been a drill sergeant if I was thinking about becoming a drill sergeant to ask them, do you think it's a good idea if I want to be a drill sergeant? They don't even have the right to have an opinion about me wanting to be a drill sergeant based upon their experience. So you similarly with your bodybuilding that you've done with your body to create an impressive physique, you have carte blanche now to give other people advice on how to build their body.
Yeah.
I would even listen to your advice, and I taught you. Okay, that's crazy. I would listen to your advice before I would listen to another person speak about bodybuilding, and I taught you to do what it is you do, and you took it further, no doubt. But I was the first one to expose you to pushing some weight. Okay? So it's about when you take advice from people, make sure, or when you're giving advice to someone, make sure you have a right to give them that advice, not just your opinion on something. Okay? So tell me about how you assimilated me giving you advice.
It's pretty much I just took it and I listened to it. Like for example, with the weight training, I you would tell me like how many sets of stuff to do, and I would do that and just listen to it and did it consistently. And if something didn't work quite for me, I'd go on Google and like research it, or I would go around and maybe ask somebody at the gym that already was doing like physique competitions or something like that, and they would help further clear up some stuff. But for the most part, I pretty much would just listen to what you said and whatever fill in the gaps with just research.
Okay, so did everything work flawlessly when you listened to my advice?
No. Uh.
So you had to
Um.
make some adjustments, right?
Yeah, definitely. Over the course of a couple years, you reach peaks and you reach valleys, and you just have to adjust to like those things and know that it's like I remember in about 10th grade, for example, I couldn't. I had reached like a plateau, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong, so I had to even so I was doing the same stuff that you had been teaching me to do, but I had to kind of go back and I pretty much just had to, I don't know the word for it, but I had to like just kind of revamp what I was doing and challenge myself at a different way, but I still keeping the base of what you taught me, but in inculcating stuff that I had to teach myself just through trial and error. So
And I remember having a conversation with you. You were telling me, yeah, Dad, I do 5 reps, and I was like, what?
yeah, that
I was
was when I
like,
first
what?
started lifting.
What are you doing? I do, Dad. I mean, I was talking to this guy, man, and he said I should do 5 reps. I said, go ahead and shoot the guy in the head right now. Just go, just go ahead and shoot him in the head right now. And so, what did you change from doing 5 reps? What happened then?
When I was doing 5 reps, it's something I learned in 8th grade weight training class. So that'll tell you something right there. But I was doing 5 reps that I learned in my weight training class, and all the big dudes in there were doing that. And so I was thinking like, well, man, if they're doing 5 reps, that must be what works. So then I remember we went to New York with you. We went to the gym in South Carolina, and I told you I was doing that many reps, and you was like, hold up, and you told me to do 12, 10, and 8 reps, and it was a lot more tiring. Uh, for sure, but that was the method that definitely worked the best in the long run. So that's what I ended up doing.
I think while we're on this topic of weight training, a lot of people that haven't aligned themselves with weight training and bodybuilding, they don't understand. They may start to weight train and they get a little pain, they get a little discomfort. They say, "Well, little burn there. I need to stop. Can't." That's the burn you're looking for. You want that
Yeah,
burn. You want to, there's a different mentality for those of us that lift weights because we seek that sensation in our muscles that lets us know that something is going on. You leave the gym today, and 2 days from now you're not sore. You need to do a little bit of adjustment, or you need to increase your repetitions. You need to increase the weight. You need to do something. But something has to change. You just can't walk out the gym and 2 days later, all right, I don't have any soreness at all. I have none. Okay, you may go through periods of time of that, but there should be some time frame that you're going through a growth period where you do have a little bit of discomfort from what you've done because discomfort means growth.
that's
And
right.
I mean, that's what it is. It means growth. And sometimes we have to do things that we're uncomfortable with so we can go ahead and grow. Person tries to lose weight and they don't lose weight the first 2 weeks because they're getting on the scale every single day. You and me, if we get on the scale every single day, isn't our weight going to be is it going to fluctuate every day? If you and I
What
get
did
on
you
the
say?
scale every single day, if I get on the scale today, I'm going to be weighing this. If I get on the scale tomorrow, I'm going to be weighing that. It's not going to be the same every
Oh yeah,
day.
it fluctuates.
It fluctuates. But those people that are trying to lose weight, when it doesn't fluctuate to their liking, they quit.
That's true.
So that's when somebody with advice will come up to them and say, look, let me tell you something. See that scale right there that you have? Okay, let's go ahead and weigh you right now. You got it? You know what the number, write the number down. Okay, put the scale in the closet. Put the scale in the closet for the next 2 weeks and don't even step on the scale. I want you to be focused on how your clothes fit. I want to be focused on how you feel. I want to be focused on if you're working out and you're trying to slim down. The mirror will tell you what's going on.
It
The mirror
will.
doesn't lie, does it? Does the mirror
Beer
lie?
don't lie.
Mirrors, people tell tales and misconstrue facts, but mirrors don't lie. So, people, we need to make sure that we're taking advice from those people that want, from those people that have done what we want. But I also want to make sure that they've had to struggle too. I don't want to talk to a relationship expert that has flown through relationships. He hasn't struggled. He hasn't had any breakups. He hasn't had, everything's went right for him. I don't want to go to the guy he's been on a trajectory like this on his financial status from the beginning. He doesn't know what it's like to drink out of a mason jar. He doesn't know what it's like to have his lights cut off. He doesn't know what it's like to have to rebuild some credit. He doesn't know what it's like to have to make a determination as to what he needs to do. Do I pay this or do I pay that? I want people that have been through that's going to give me advice. Because if you've had a smooth life, or a silver spoon in your mouth, so to speak, or all the people that you've hung around have been well-to-do, and you've not had an opportunity you found out that. You learned about managing your money when your lights were turned off.
Yeah.
You learned about how important it is to manage your money if you want to eat. Okay,
Yep.
if you want to do things for gas, because you can. That's a nice truck you got, but I don't think you want to be pushing it everywhere.
No.
Right? You had to learn. What were some of the things that you had to learn from experience that you'd be able to teach younger people your age, say in their 20s now?
Well, one of the first things is who you hang around, because when I was hanging around certain people, it became easier to spend money in places that you shouldn't spend money, like going out to fast food all the time, or going, buying all these different unnecessary stuff. So one of the first things I would say is if you want to handle your money better, you got to hang around people that not necessarily that know how to like manage their money, but you definitely can't hang around people that know how to mismanage their money. That's probably the best way I could put that. So that's one of the first things I would say, because you hang around people that know how to handle their money, they're not going to be having you. They're not going to be like, hey man, let's go out to eat, 5 days in a row at an expensive restaurant. But if you hang in so that was one thing I did, and then the second thing I did was I pretty much just it's like the same thing with academics and like bodybuilding. You just commit yourself to this is the amount of money I'm gonna spend every week, and you don't go above that. And I did those two things, and that's what worked for me.
Okay, so you've grown over the years and having to deal with experiences for yourself. You've seen through the experiences of others that haven't fared well, not to do those things. Okay, and
Yes.
you definitely wouldn't take advice from those individuals about what you should do. Okay, that's
No,
my
I
point
mean the funny
exactly.
thing is people like that usually try to give you advice. Uh, ironically,
It is that way, isn't it? And,
yeah.
y'all need to give my son some hearts because he's beyond his years. He's a 20-year-old young man. He's going to be 21 in April, and he thinks strong. I'm very proud of him because I'm looking at him and I'm thinking like, man, where was he when he was 14? I remember you when you were 14. You were a string bean when you were 14.
I remember
Your
I saw
mind,
this. I've seen videos.
your mindset wasn't where it is. I mean, you had a desire to be strong, but you didn't know where you were going to go with it, how you were going to do it. And I know personal development. I know Eric Thomas, personal development, the books you read, the things I would say to you took hold to you, and that was experience you needed to hear. That was experience that you needed to listen to. Um, I also think that people that are going to give the experience, they need to be coming from a basis of have gone through the peaks and valleys themselves, so they can say, look, you know what? I know what that feels like. I know what that valley that you're in right now, not just the peak. I know what that valley feels like. And if you want to
That's
get out of
true.
that valley, you need to do this. Don't do that. If you continue to do it, you're going to stay in the valley. We don't want to stay in the valley, right? Do we? We want to get out of the valley. So I got a lot of people on here that I'm seeing that I know personally that I look up to as for mentorship, like C. Anthony. I look up to him based upon what he's done. I know he's been in some valleys. If you're a success, you've been in some valleys.
Yeah,
Point blank.
that's very true.
Okay? If the only people that are not successful are those people that haven't been in valleys. That's my point. Okay? You would not have understood what it's like to have muscle on your body to the significant level that you have unless you never had muscle. People may
That's
look at you
true.
now and say, "Man, you got genetics, man. You
Yeah.
always were big. You always had muscle." And I will tell you, he did not have muscle. And what's the politically way of me saying it in today's terms? Plus, he was at one time fat as hell. That's the best way I can say it. Okay, he had to navigate from that. He had to have a desire to do that. I had to show him that, you know what, there's a better way. You're gonna see. You may not understand it right now. You might not understand it right now, but trust me. If you keep you on this same trajectory right here, where I want you to go, you're gonna find that for yourself. And this was all through the people that would come at me saying, well, if he lifts weights, you're gonna stun his growth. How
I
tall are
remember
you?
that. I remember hearing that.
How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
And how much do you weigh?
I'm 260.
Okay, so I don't think it stunted your growth at all.
No, definitely didn't. I was like probably 5'8" at that time, so it definitely hadn't
Okay,
did that.
definitely didn't stunt your growth. 20 years old, 6 feet tall, 260 pounds. Let me tell you something. You have not seen him. You see him now on this screen, right? But let me tell you something. It's pale in comparison to sitting next to him eating a meal. I look over at him. I'm like, I had to tell my son. I said, boy, you won. You won. The contest is over now. You've officially won. He was big. His arm is huge. Upper body, you can see his chest is out here. His stomach is down here. He's really sharpening up. So what I would say to everybody on here, make sure that if you're going to give advice to someone, give them your failures too. Give them what didn't work for you so they can learn from you, not just your successes. I can see a millionaire or a billionaire. I can say they really got it going on. But I want to see what didn't go right, so I don't do that.
Exactly.
I want to see what their daily habits are that worked, so I do that. I also want to hear about their daily habits that they were doing back in the day that didn't work. Why? Because I don't want to do that. Okay, I don't want to do that. I'm really interested in to know. I'll ask a person, well, what did you do that didn't work for you? Copy. I want to take some notes. I want to know what you did that didn't work for you, because I ain't gonna do that. And then I'll also ask what worked for you. And what I found, this is what I found, and I know you found this to be so too, son. Your daily habits and your rituals. Hey, Lester. Yes, I am very busy, my brother. Good to see you. What are your daily habits and your rituals? I know what my daily habits and rituals are. They're every day. And you want to see the outcome of what you have in the bank? You want to see the outcome of what you have on your body? You want to see the outcome of what you have in your academics? You look at your daily habits, or lack thereof. Talk a little bit about your daily habits. Tell me how important your daily habits are.
Pretty important for daily. You have to have like a regimen of, for example, when I didn't have a regimen, we're talking maybe probably like around 14, 15 years old. You just wake up and like a fish in the ocean, wherever it drags you, that's where you go. And that's not that. If you do that, you ain't gonna have any kind of success. You're just gonna be sitting in the bed. You'll be well rested, but you won't. You'll be well rested and broke, or well rested and fat, or well rested and not having what you want in life. So my daily habits are pretty important to me now, and pretty much consist of, we went over it in the past. I start off similar to yours. I pray in the morning as soon as I get out of bed. Then brush my teeth, eat breakfast, all that good stuff. And if it's during the school year, I'm gonna go to class. Then I'm after class, I'm gonna go to the gym. Then after the gym, I'm gonna do all my homework and catch up with all that for the day, study, all that stuff. Then I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna pray again. Then I'm gonna usually like wind down, eat dinner, go to bed, and I do that.
Well,
That's what I
hold
do.
on. It sounds like you don't have no fun, man. You don't have no fun, man. I mean, that's all you
Fun,
do is.
fun is for suckers. If you want to be successful, it, I didn't mean to be that blunt about it, but fun is for suckers. Like if you want to be successful, I don't care what you, like. You can't. I'll put it this way. It's funny. The more my fun goes down, the more my success goes up.
Mm.
So like, if you want to be successful, you can't like you put on a T-shirt. Like my fun got to go down, my success go up. You want to be successful, you have to. I'm not saying you have to cut out fun, but it has to be. You have to know what you want, and that was an integral thing. I always like to use academics as an example because it's an easy example. With academics, like I had to cut out the party and all that fun. It's all fun. Like I enjoyed, hanging out with people and partying and stuff, but that's not that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to get education. I wanted to get my grades up to at least a 3.5, which I did. And to do that, like it's wake up, pray, eat, gym, class. There is no wake up, pray, have a shot of Hennessy. Ain't none of that. It's, it's, it's you have to have your priorities straight, and that's just all it comes down to. When you get your priorities straight, you have a daily regimen of stuff that you're going to do every day, no matter what. And even if maybe one of your friends, or if you're a guy, some hot girl calls you up talking about how she wants you to hang with her, you have to be cognizant enough, and you have to be dedicated enough to say no. That's pretty much what it is, because people constantly in your day, when you're trying to be successful in anything, they will do things to try to detract you from your success. And
And they
I'm
may
sure
not even they may not even realize they're doing it. They may not even realize they may not be trying
that's true.
to derail you. I mean, they're on their own grind toward being unsuccessful. You're on your grind to being successful, and they don't even see it. That's the strange part. They don't see it. And when you
No,
told
it's
me, like,
completely oblivious.
tell me what would happen when you told one of your friends that you couldn't go out because you had to study. What his
Oh
response
man,
was.
I still got Negro. I mean, friends like that are trying to that are trying that they know I'm in college, and I'm trying to be, and I done quit partying and did all that type of stuff, and when I say I'm studying on from 6 to 8, I'm studying from 6 to 8, and they'll still, even now, they'll still classic example is it'll be a Friday night. um, I'll be in the library. I'll be doing like some typing of paper, or doing a project, and I'll receive like a Facebook message from somebody I used to party with. They'll be like, "Hey man, come on, we know we having a big get together at the crib. You should come on through." And I'll be like, "I can't. I ain't doing that, bruh." And I'll usually just leave it alone. And the next 30 minutes later, "Hey man, come on to the crib, man. We got a big get together, man. You gonna really enjoy this, man. You gotta come on, come on." I'm like, I'm studying, and then the third time, like I don't even answer it after that. Like I let them talk to themselves. But that's like a classic example of, it'll usually be somebody trying to get me to come to a party, or if just got out of class, it'll be somebody trying to get me to come eat lunch with them, and I told them I'm about to go ready and study. And it'll be like this little stuff, like like it'll be this stuff that's just kind of like, they want me to use my time to do something that's not going to put me at a topper place in my success, or even them in their success. So that's just pretty much like type of stuff that they'll do.
So tell me. I mean, you obviously are regimented now because you weren't always regimented. Okay, you can be the first to admit that, and you've already talked and
Yeah.
you already
No, it wasn't.
highlighted some of those points. What makes you so steadfast, regimented to this level at this point? What is it that you're going after? What are you going for?
Well, my goal is first and foremost to get a bachelor's degree out of college. I think that's um, anybody's goal. Well, at least it should be if you're in college. My first goal. But my overall goal is I'm going to get into medical school after I get my bachelor's degree. And last time I checked, folks in medical school, they don't party every night. They don't do that. They don't wake up whatever time they want to wake up, and just maybe they go to class, maybe they don't go to class. you get kicked out of school if you do that. So I remember I had like a class with a guy. He was probably maybe in his late 30s or probably early 40s, and his name I'm not gonna say his name, but I had like anatomy class with him, and he had an A in the class, and I couldn't figure out how he had an A in the class, and it was that much memorization and studying that we had to do, which I'm good at memorization, but it was I couldn't figure out how he could have that kind of grade with how fast paced the class went. And I asked him one day. He called me up on the phone. It was like I think maybe the day before we had a quiz or something, or the night before a quiz. And he said, "Man, I just study all the time." And I was like, "That's your secret?" He's like, "Yeah, I just study all the time." It was so obvious to him, and he pretty much gave me like a little pep talk. He was like, "If you want to be," he said like for people my own age, he may have had kids or something, and he said, the problem is a lot of people you have to come. There will come a time where you will have to choose between partying and your school education." And when he said that, I was like, man. And like I thought about it, and I was like, you're right. And ever since, and I didn't stop partying then and doing that type of stuff, but it was always in the back of my mind of should I really be doing this or should I be doing my schoolwork? And then eventually at the beginning of my junior year, I said I cut all that stuff out and I said I'm not going to be one of those people that barely gets through college because they want to have a whole lot of fun. I said I'm going to dig down for the rest of my college career. I'm going to get done what I said I was going to get done at the beginning, and I'm not going to let anybody or any girl or anything stop me from getting what I'm going to get. So that's pretty much my talk with him kind of helped that, and just my
Well,
own.
and here's the thing: it wouldn't have been so effective had he not had the experience that he was
Exactly.
talking
Yeah,
about. Here's a
he
guy
had
that's
an
got
A
an
in the
A,
class.
who probably no doubt has had to dig down in his life to be the way he is.
Yeah, he said he actually said he had to study. He For me to make an A, I probably had to study maybe a couple hours a week, and I think he studied probably a couple hours every day. So memorization didn't come easy to him by any means. He just had a passion to get an A out of the class.
And that's noteworthy. That's really really hones in on what I was trying to share, or what I'm sharing with people about taking advice from those that have a right to give you
Doing it.
advice, and not taking advice from people that well almost got it done, or they were trying to get it done, or they didn't get it done. Now they want to tell you how you should do it to get it done. I said, wait a minute, you want to tell me how to run a mile? You can't even run 3 feet? No, 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 no. No, doesn't work. And I see Lester says good work ethics will be a positive contribution to your life walk, and that's very true.
Thank you, Lester.
If your work ethic is strong, everything is together. Your work ethic, your habits, your rituals, it all comes together. If you do the right thing, then you'll be able to look back and say, okay, I got this and this and this and that. Are you still going after your PhD after you get your bachelor's or your master's?
Oh, I'm going for trying to go for medical school,
Okay, you're going to go straight to
so
medical
it's kind
school.
of
I
yeah,
got you.
slightly a different route.
Okay, well, you know what? That's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, people change their route. Hey, I mean, you know what? Let me see. Having a PhD and having medical school. PhD, medical school. I'll give you medical school. You good. You
Yeah.
good. You good. But see, the lofty thought process would went along with you even considering at such a young age, because you had considered getting a PhD, getting a doctorate long before you were 20 years old. And just doing that has elevated you to want to get medical school. That's a whole different
Yes.
ball game. That's a whole different ball game. So, you know, now we're going to go ahead and have you learn more about life. We're going to have you learn more about success. You're going to navigate through relationships, no doubt. But hopefully you'll take those experiences, and you'll be just as regimented in your approach to those experiences as well. Because there's a methodology to having a successful relationship. There's a methodology for having a successful life and being successful in your work and your chosen field of endeavor and your passions. Because, you're going to be involved with things that you're going to be passionate about. Now you become passionate. I remember when I couldn't do a push-up when I got the basic training to save my natural life. It was 1979. Wow. I remember it. I mean, I could do push-ups, but I hated them. I hated them. Hated. And then I said, you know what? I need to go ahead and I came to a realization in my mind. Nobody told me this. I said, you know what, James, you're going to have to go ahead and fall in love with push-ups. I don't know how you're going to do it, bro. Okay, you have to have a conversation with yourself. Sometimes you're going to say to yourself, self, you're going to have to fall in love with doing these push-ups because they're not going away. Self, you're going to have to fall in love with running around this track and being out of breath and learning how not to be, whatever. So that in the long run, as Les is saying, you stay on track and it will pay off in the long run. Yes, absolutely. It will definitely. It's people that can't stay on track. They sort of, they're on track and they get off track. On track, they just sort of off track. And they let people pull them off track. Sometimes they pull themselves off track, but you've been able to stay on track. And that's what's important. So you got the life, the success, the relationships to get through. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, I know.
you might not want to do that. Homeskill it. You might not want to do that, man. You might want to do this over here. It might not work. It might not work in your favor. Take it from me. I'm just trying to tell you. I've been there. I've been down that road. And, then you'll be able to impart that on your children that you will probably have in the future. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. So I appreciate your time that you spent with me on this live, son. I really wanted to hone in on the fact that taking advice from people that have failed in the past, that have triumphed, is a good thing. I'm not just going to take advice from somebody that's failed. Okay?
That's right.
Lester Williams is saying, Mr. Saunders was a very good role model for me when we worked together at Task Force Marshall, and I respect this man for his positive attitude and leadership. That's why I hang around positive, outgoing people. I appreciate that, brother. I really appreciate that. Iron sharpens iron. You were iron in my life as well, okay? Or you are iron in my life as well. I'll say it like that. He says he has his PhD in youth development, and it wasn't easy, but it's paying off. So the main thing is to be passionate about what you do. I believe you and your sister are going to be positive role models for everybody, those your age and those much older. I always say this, and I really mean this, son. I inspired you to do what it is that you do. And now you inspire me to do what I do because of what you do. That's what I can say. And, you gave me some hashtags. I'm going to go back and watch this video. You give me a couple of hashtags I'm going to have to add to one of my posts in the future. You come up with some nice hashtags, even though you don't think you're coming up with them. But you do. So I want to have everybody today on this beautiful Saturday, go make an impact on somebody. Go share this video with somebody. You have children in your life that need to see this video. They're right before going to college. They might be 14. It's not too early. They might be 12 years old. It's not too early. You might have people in their 50s and 60s. You may think that it's too late for them to go ahead and aspire to higher heights. It's not too late. You might think right now you are all that you're ever going to be. That's it. You've hit the plateau. That's it. I can't do no more. I can't. That's it. I'm done. No, there's somebody that you can impact right now by sitting down and simply talking to them and listening to them so that you can impart something on them. Not preach to them, but you might say something to them that may say, you know what, I never thought of it that way before. Never thought of that. That's insightful. Let me do that. So you guys have a phenomenal day. Nice talking to you. Hey, son, go crush it.
I will. You too, Dad. Continue.
Bye-bye.